Blake Lively absolutely must drop this lawsuit as soon as humanly possible, or at least when the judge returns and says, absolutely, we're not going to have you dismissed from it, because there is now just way too much evidence that she and Ryan are, strictly speaking, perverts themselves. Like, just honestly, they are perverted.
Have you ever stumbled into a story so tangled you're not sure where it really began or how it might end? That's exactly what happened with actor-director Justin Baldoni, known for his visionary take on life and film, and the Hollywood power couple Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Their once friendly acquaintanceship has spiraled into a tense legal standoff complete with shocking accusations, whispered regrets, and potential lawsuits against not just Ryan and Blake themselves, but even Ryan's own marketing company. Suddenly, everyone's asking the same question. How did it go from casual conversations about creativity to high-stakes courtroom drama? It all began with starry aspirations. Justin, Ryan, and Blake seemed poised to collaborate on something groundbreaking. But as rumors of conflict emerged, Justin's ultimate response was to file legal claims alleging that the couple and Ryan's company had a hand in sabotaging reputations and harming film projects. Now, attorneys, fans, and the media are dissecting every possible outcome. Could Justin's claims force a settlement nobody expects? Will the courts dismiss some or all of the charges? Or might a full-scale trial reveal hidden truths that could change how we see these Hollywood heavyweights forever? And in this case, with Justin seemingly prepared to pull more evidence into the fray and Ryan's camp scrambling to protect its brand, the stakes couldn't be higher. Because if one thing is certain, it's that in Hollywood, power struggles don't just happen off camera, they often become the main event. Let's dive into how these once cordial connections unraveled and what may lie ahead for all parties embroiled in this increasingly unpredictable legal battle. Justin Baldoni always struck people as a forward thinker, someone who strived to be more than just another actor in the crowd. He organized gatherings centered on elevated concepts, spirituality, and exploring how to serve humanity. The rumor is he was introduced to a charismatic salsa dancer one night, someone with an energy so unique that Justin felt immediately drawn in. However, instead of hitting on her or asking for her number, he invited her to these mind-expanding meetups. What started as casual coffee chats for philosophical discussions soon became a hub of intriguing personalities. People from different walks of life congregated to talk about everything from mindfulness to philanthropic work. No small talk about the weather. This was about going deeper. Whether or not romance had initially been on Justin's mind, the environment of supportive curiosity and the synergy of big ideas brought everyone closer. Within that circle, bonding exercises were the norm. One day, he found himself doing an eye-gazing activity with the dancer, staring into each other's eyes for as long as they could stand it, searching for deeper unspoken truths. According to insiders, there was this undefinable spark. She claimed she literally saw him fall in love in that moment. Justin, for his part, might have teased her, joking about how she cornered him, though he insists it never quite happened that way. Looking back, those intimate hangouts and intense conversations formed the seeds of something bigger. What began as unguarded curiosity for life's deeper meaning set up the stage for a series of events that would eventually tie into a swirling Hollywood drama. Because at these gatherings, it wasn't just about self-improvement, it was about meeting the right people at the right time, forging connections powerful enough to change lives. But little did they know, that small community of elevated thinkers would one day lead to tangled professional relationships that tested everyone's boundaries and forced them to choose sides. While Justin explored spiritual growth and mindful living, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were forging a reputation as one of Hollywood's favorite couples. They had comedic chops, red carpet flair, and a lovable social media dynamic that fans devoured. So how on earth did the Reynolds-Lively duo become part of the same orbit as a deep-thinking, philanthropic dreamer like Justin Baldoni? Some say it was pure networking. Mutual acquaintances who recognized that Justin's approach to storytelling, infusing compassion and meaning into his work, could mesh with the blossoming, carefully curated brand that Ryan and Blake were cultivating. They'd each found success individually, but were rumored to be craving a next-level Hollywood status, the kind that defines a power couple in the eyes of the public. One day, they all crossed paths at a private event. Polite introductions quickly gave way to laughter, according to eyewitnesses. Justin's sincerity apparently contrasted with Ryan's trademark witty banter, while Blake's radiant presence tied the group dynamic together. Before long, there were quiet suggestions of collaboration, maybe a project that could highlight Justin's empathetic style of direction, with Ryan or Blake starring, or even co-producing. In the beginning, it must have seemed like a perfect match. After all, who wouldn't want to combine philanthropic passion with star power? Yet even early on, insider chatter hinted at possible friction. Some claim Blake and Ryan had their own goals for controlling the narrative of any joint endeavor, while Justin wanted to focus on uplifting messages. Still, everything remained cordial in those first days. Photographers snapped pictures of them smiling at events, the tabloids gushed about a new dream team, and the internet clung to the idea that something truly groundbreaking might be in the works. But behind the public facade, an undercurrent of unspoken competition began to swirl. If Justin's style was about building up those around him, Ryan and Blake seemed more attuned to climbing the Hollywood ladder efficiently. Nothing inherently wrong with that, but it could rub idealists the wrong way. Whenever you throw big personalities, potential clashing creative visions, and Hollywood-level ambition into the same pot, you're bound to get friction eventually. Yet, this was only the calm before the real storm. Over time, the friendly facade started to crack. Whispers of frustration leaked out. Some claimed Justin felt overshadowed by the Reynolds lively brand machine. Others hinted that Ryan and Blake were uneasy about Justin's more earnest approach, worried it might not align with the comedic or action-packed roles that kept them bankable. Tension brewed quietly until it finally boiled over in the form of a lawsuit. Justin Baldoni filed legal claims that struck many fans as shocking. The beloved couple, known for friendly social media banter, had apparently crossed some lines behind the scenes. The exact nature of those lines grew murky. There were allegations of defamation, hush-hush deals gone sour, and unscrupulous attempts to undermine reputations. Suddenly, fans accustomed to seeing Ryan's comedic tweets and Blake's glamorous appearances were forced to question the perfect facade they had come to adore. As the lawsuit gained momentum, rumors of regret surfaced. Media outlets speculated that Blake Lively, specifically, felt uneasy about this combative strategy. Some insiders said she was panicking, worried that the legal approach, which had seemed so ironclad in the planning stages, was backfiring catastrophically. Among the swirling controversies was an oddly specific rumor. Blake allegedly regretted filing anything at all and wanted out. Yet at that point, the wheels of legal warfare had already been set into motion. Turning back wasn't going to be so simple. To complicate matters, Justin remained steadfast in his convictions. Instead of backing down or cutting a quick settlement deal, he dug his heels in, refusing to bend to intimidation. He wasn't about to walk away from a fight he believed was about protecting both creative integrity and personal reputation. In a sense, he seemed to be channeling the same spiritual convictions that once attracted so many people to his circles of elevated concepts. But this time, the setting was far from a serene meetup. It was a high-profile courtroom. And that was only the beginning of their troubles. As media coverage ramped up, so did conflicting accounts. Ryan's side lob claims that Justin was orchestrating a smear campaign, painting Ryan as the victim of unscrupulous accusations. Justin's team fired back, insisting that Ryan's marketing company owed a duty of care not to sabotage the success of a project they were all connected to. Each motion, counter-motion, and legal brief created new headlines and more confusion for fans just trying to figure out what was going on. The tone of Ryan's defense shifted noticeably. At first, his legal arguments brimmed with references to predatory behavior, leaving a distinctly unsavory impression of Justin. But soon, that language got toned down or replaced with more generic terms. Why the abrupt change? Some observers speculated the shocking accusations angle wasn't landing well. Others suspected Ryan was discovering that if he insisted on certain explosive claims, Justin's camp would produce even stronger evidence to the contrary. Meanwhile, Blake found herself fielding more and more questions. Even her private life, like attending a horse riding event with her daughter, was photographed and dissected by the tabloids. Stories popped up about her feeling as if her world was turning upside down, about her longing for a normal life, far from the prying eyes of paparazzi or the heat of the lawsuit. Yet, cynics noted that if normality was what she wanted, setting legal proceedings in motion against a determined co-star/director seemed like a curious strategy. In the midst of all this, some outlets began to question the authenticity of earlier headlines. For instance, How accurate were the allegations about a smear campaign? And did Ryan really say everything Justin claimed? Possibly, possibly not. Sorting fact from fiction became a near impossible task for outsiders. What was abundantly clear, however, was that each side believed wholeheartedly in its own version of events, and neither showed any sign of backing down. But those doubts were far from their last unexpected twist. Whenever big celebrities clash, a wave of awkwardness ripples through Hollywood. Friends are forced to pick sides, or more commonly, stay silent until the dust settles. In the case of Ryan, Blake, and Justin, the question became, who would risk supporting them publicly, and which alliances would quietly dissolve? Rumors flew about friction between Blake and her longtime bestie Taylor Swift, a superstar known for fiercely supporting women in challenging situations. Some found it telling that Taylor, who once vocally stood by Kesha amid serious legal battles, wasn't exactly throwing her weight behind Blake's claims. Then again, it's standard PR logic. Publicly supporting a friend locked in a murky lawsuit might cause your own brand to suffer. Meanwhile, other high-profile celebrities, from Margot Robbie to Scarlett Johansson, had their names dragged into the conversation, sometimes tangentially, sometimes because of rumored competition or behind-the-scenes drama. Studios also began to worry. If the allegations portrayed either party as unethical or manipulative on set, it could jeopardize future collaborations. Major film productions are risky enough without adding the threat of potential sabotage or meltdown by an embattled star. As the story of messy contract disputes, budget blowouts, and possible defamation made its rounds, industry insiders started asking, is it worth it to cast these people? Will they cause disruptions or overshadow the movie itself? The swirling controversies highlighted a painful reality. In Hollywood, your reputation is everything. Once it's tarnished, it can take years or even a lifetime to rebuild. Ryan had enjoyed comedic darling status for quite some time. Blake was seen as a charming, stylish leading lady. Justin was known for sincerity and uplifting messages. Now all three risk brand damage as viewers, sponsors, and potential partners watch the drama intensify. Meanwhile, another revelation was about to shake things up even further. One of the strangest threads in this entire saga involves a film project called It Ends With Us, where Blake Lively was cast in a pivotal role. On paper, the script demanded an intense birth scene that would inevitably require a certain level of closeness and vulnerability. Enter Adam Manson, rumored to be a close friend of Justin Baldoni. Reports vary about how exactly Adam landed that role, but rumors suggest Justin wanted to provide a spotlight for a friend. Blake, however, supposedly found this arrangement deeply uncomfortable. In one telling, she learned too late that the guy asked to place his face near her legs during filming was also a buddy of the director. She worried that this might compromise boundaries or lead to unprofessional moments. Adam, for his part, insisted everything was strictly professional and that Blake had acted totally normal on set. The conflicting claims only added fuel to the tabloid fire. At first glance, you might assume that an actress as experienced as Blake would treat a birth scene as standard Hollywood fare, just another day at the office. But in interviews and statements that trickled out, she appeared to double down, framing it as an instance of potential exploitation. Fans quickly chose sides. Some felt Blake was being oversensitive or manipulative, while others argued the power imbalance, where the director is also the friend of the actor in a delicate scene, was concerning. This blow-up dovetailed with the broader legal battle, feeding rumors that the entire production was riddled with tension. Could it be that each small dispute reflected a bigger truth? That maybe behind closed doors, this was a volatile environment where trust was fleeting, intentions were murky, and personal boundaries were regularly stretched? Yeah, that wasn't the only surprise fueling the gossip mill. As this saga drags on, we might ask ourselves, does any of this drama truly reveal the real Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, or Justin Baldoni? Or are we simply seeing the messy collision of high ambitions, clashing egos, and orchestrated PR strategies? It's possible that, in different circumstances, these three people might have worked together harmoniously on a film that combined heart, humor, and hope. After all, they each bring unique talents to the table. Justin's empathic storytelling, Ryan's comedic genius, and Blake's commanding screen presence. Yet in Hollywood, one moment you're forging new collaborations, the next, you're entangled in lawsuits and scandal. Whether they choose to settle or duke it out in court, the repercussions of these allegations will ripple for years. Studios and fans alike will remember the tension, the harsh words, and the regrets. And in a business built on perception, that can be the ultimate game changer. The cautionary takeaway for anyone paying attention: sometimes the bigger the star, the higher the stakes, and the more fragile the alliance is. Is there a chance this entire episode will fade into a cautionary footnote in Hollywood history? Possibly. But for now, all we can do is watch, speculate, and wonder if these stars ever pause to think back on the simpler times, like those intimate, soul-bearing meetups with coffee and deep conversation, back before everything turned complicated. In the end, maybe the message is this: if we lose sight of genuine human connection in the pursuit of success, the cost might be far greater than we ever bargained for. What do you think? Is it all a calculated ploy, or did friendly bonds truly sour into something much darker? Share your thoughts, stay curious, and keep an eye on this saga, because in Hollywood, where ambition tangles with ego, the final twist is never truly final.